An advisor for the software company at the center of a massive hack of the U.S. government says he warned the contractor years ago about security issues. Bloomberg reports that back in 2017, IT expert Ian Thornton Trump recommended the company, SolarWinds, appoint a senior director of cybersecurity to protect operations. He called the Texas-based government contractor, quote, an incredibly easy target to hack. An individual in contact with Thornton Trump confirmed the quote to CBS News. The full extent of the hack is still unknown. Hackers breached SolarWinds to infect at least 7 U.S. government agencies. CBS News has learned evidence of the hack was detected at the Department of Energy. That maintains the nation's nuclear stockpile. U.S. officials believe Russia is behind the breach, as outgoing Attorney General William Barr suggested this morning.
The information I have, I agree with Secretary Pompeo's assessment. It certainly appears to be the Russians, but I'm not going to discuss it beyond that.
Nina Jankowicz is a fellow studying disinformation at the think tank The Wilson Center, and she joins me now. Hi, Nina. Great to see you. So we've now heard the U.S. Attorney General and Secretary of State point the finger at Russia for this hack. The president says it could be China. But why is Russia suspected to be behind this, and how is that sort of determination made?
Well, Tanya, I think the cybersecurity experts who are investigating this attack look at the techniques used, in this case, a pretty sophisticated supply chain attack infecting the software that many government agencies are using. And that can only be attributed to really sophisticated hackers, in this case, a nation state, and that is likely to be Russia, not China, according to most of the cybersecurity experts who are looking into this, and many of the government agencies who have weighed in on the record with reporters.
And of course, in spite of the president's suggestion, the AP reports the White House had prepared a statement Friday calling Russia the main actor in the attack, which has been echoed, as we just said, from top members of the Trump administration, but not from the president himself. So what are the political ramifications of that?
Well, I think what we're seeing here with President Trump is an attempt once again to use a major national security matter for his own personal political prowess. He wants to further this narrative of election interference, of a rigged election, when in reality it doesn't seem like this Russian cyber intrusion had anything to do with elections. It targeted sensitive government documents. It was cyber espionage, but there's no evidence it changed anything related to the election or even affected any election vendors or anything like that. Instead, again, what we're seeing is the president putting our democracy and our trust in our institutions at risk for his own personal political benefit.
So, Nina, we fully understand that it will take time for the full scope of this hack to come to light. But from what we know now, it is significant, impacting several U.S. agencies. Hearing about a cyber attack can seem like an abstract threat to many people, even though the danger is immediate and real. Help us understand why the average American should be concerned about this breach of the U.S. government. What are the real-world ramifications?
So I think there are a few. And first, let me start a little bit with terminology. There is discussion in the cybersecurity community over the past few days whether we should call this an attack. Nothing was changed. Nothing was taken offline. It appears that the hackers were just intruding into our systems in order to steal information. This is something actually that happens fairly frequently. The U.S. government actually does it as well. Should we be okay with a foreign government intruding into our systems and stealing sensitive information? Absolutely not. And the ramifications, as you asked, are pretty widespread. I mean, when we're talking about the Department of State, the Department of Defense, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Energy, as you mentioned, these are departments that have access to extremely sensitive information that can put the United States national security at risk. And not only that, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of the documents and information that was obtained during this months-long intrusion used in a hack and leak operation further down the road to buoy disinformation campaigns run by the Russian government in order to undermine the incoming Biden-Harris administration.
So there are real-world consequences from this. We just don't know exactly what they are yet. Is there a chance that there will be no consequences, that this could all just fade away, or is that highly unlikely?
I don't think that's likely. We've seen these sort of cyber tit for tats going on for many years now. Certainly everyone remembers the Sony hack that was attributed to North Korea. We've seen Russia breach the Office of Personnel Management, the White House, the DoD before. Of course, China is behind many of these attacks. This is the new reality. And I think what we're hearing a lot of people in the cybersecurity community saying over the past few days is that we need to set the rules of the road. Certainly the Trump administration to some degree has been quite lax with cybersecurity. We know that because of his statements related to election security, Trump fired the head of our cybersecurity agency just a few weeks ago. So we need a new direction, and I'm hoping that the new administration, President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, will really set that out very clearly, what the consequences for attacks and intrusions like this are, and really enforce those consequences as well, which we've not seen with the Trump administration, which has coddled Russia in relation to its cyber intrusions and disinformation campaigns.
Nina Jankowicz from the Wilson Center, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.